Hello guys, welcome to this webinar again today. So this is our first webinar for 2022 for this year. So before we start, I would like to repeat the housekeeping that we have for today. I am Amir, the moderator for today's session. So I just want to let you know that please be aware that today's session is being recorded and will be available to view after the event. All right. If you have any questions for the speakers, please use the Q&A box feature in this Zoom webinar. And to the audience as well, we'll be also asking you some questions which will pop up on your screen throughout the event, all right? That's because we want to hear more from you too, all right? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the live session today. So we are excited that you have made the decision to join us to explore how we can use the lesson that we have learned from 2021, to build the successful online learning programs such as micro-credentials, online learning, or open and distance learning programs in 2022. All right, please say hi and introduce yourself in the chat box. Tell us about your name, where are you coming from, where are you coming from? Is it from the institutions or is it from the training providers? Let us know anything about that, yeah? All right, so I just want to ask you one question before we start with our discussions, right? So what comes to your mind when you think of innovative online learning? What comes to your mind when you think of innovative online learning? It's about innovation. We would love to get to know you in a short time that we have for this session, about 1 hour from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. later. All right? All right, so while you're answering that questions, let me introduce the speakers that we have for today. So as what you can see as well, I am here, Amir, the moderator for today. I am the sales manager for Open Learning for Southeast Asia. Nice to meet you all. And then I am always motivated to help educators and institutions in the region with their digitizations efforts, online strategies, as well as localizing the content and consultation and support. So I look forward to meeting and chatting with you. If your organization is keen to take your content, courses, and trainings online. All right? So let me introduce our speakers for today, shall we? So today we are joined by two diverse speakers, all the panelists that we have, who each bring a unique perspective to our topic of LMS, Learning Management System, delivering innovative online learning in 2022. With all the talks around the business uncertainties, so the changing nature of work, and the change in skill set required by the industries, as educators, you might be thinking as well, right? How can I transform my existing programs for my learners? Like transitioning from the offline channels to the online channels, all right? So without further ado, let me introduce my first speaker for today. We have Leong Mi-Chelle. She's the head of department, she's the head from the Department of Languages of UOW Malaysia KDU. Hi, Mi-Chelle, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm Mi-Chelle here. Thanks for the introduction. I'm very energetic.
Yeah.
Well, today I'm happy to share with you our innovation in online learning. So nice meeting all of you.
Nice meeting you, Mi-Chelle. All right, so without further ado as well, we also have another speaker that we have here, which is Dr. Tenku Putri Norishah. She is the Deputy Director for the Center of Lifelong Education and Learning Innovation from Multimedia University. Assalamualaikum, Doctor. How are you today?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Amir. Hello, everyone, and Assalamualaikum. So I'm really happy to be here today to be able to share our experiences as well on how we have been developing online open distance learning as well as micro-credentials at MMU.
All right. I'm looking forward to speak with you both today, okay? All right. So thank you so much to Dr. Tenku and Mi-Chelle for saying hello to our lovely audience for today, all right? So now you have all had the chance to share your thoughts on what innovative online learning is. Like what innovative means to you, all right? Let's have a look on what you have said in the chat here. So since we start, we have a few people that have already mentioned about the innovative of online learning. So we have someone coming in from Caroline Yap, all right? So, hi everyone, I'm Nira from Sunway University. Innovative online learning to me means something which is flexible, available anytime and anywhere, and also accessible by all. Whatever I learn or one learns from it must offer a means to practice is right away and get constructive feedback from the provider. That is a very good answer. All right, so next we have also from another attendee that we have today. All right, so greetings all. This is Evelyn from City University PJ. Innovative learning, new ways which suits your students to boost the level of engagement of the students and to help them better achieve their personal learning experience. All right. So wow, what a great response that we have today. It looks like they have a variety of like the opinions that we have right now. Yeah. So what it means to innovate in the field of education, and I can see that the majority of these people brought up about engagement and also personalizations. Is that correct, Doctor and Michelle?
Sounds like they're on the right track.
Yeah, so that is what we are going to discuss today, right? All right.
Yes.
So yeah, so in today's sessions, it looks like we'll chat with again. We are going to have a chat with Michelle and Dr. Tenku, who will be sharing about how they manage and run new and transformative programs for their institutions, despite having to face the various challenges and uncertainties throughout the year of that we have the COVID-19, right? The pandemic and beyond. All right, I cannot wait to hear from you guys both, Michelle and Dr. Tengku. So I think, Michelle, would you like to start?
Yes, Amir. Thank
All right,
you.
sure. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can start sharing yours, okay?
Right.
All right, great. See you.
Great. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today. So I'm going to share a little about our innovation in online delivery and what's brewing in 2022. But before that, let's take a look at what prompted us to begin our journey towards online learning. I teach English and I'm also leading a department in teaching English. So naturally, what we do is very much centered around preparing students for tertiary studies and also helping those who need to upskill so that they can stay relevant in the workforce, especially in terms of language skills and communication. So we wanted to reach out to our international students who were not able to come on campus to join us just yet. We wanted to help them to enhance their English language skills and also academic skills necessary for university life so that they are more prepared when they arrive here in Malaysia for their academic program. When the pandemic hit us, the noble desire to help became a crucial need to answer to the outcry of our international students who were not able to travel at all due to the movement restrictions. While at the same time, we also wanted to help those in the workforce to upskill so that they can actually stay relevant and effective in their jobs, especially in these changing times. So actually, we were already trying to create online courses pre-COVID. The disruption caused by the pandemic actually accelerated our innovation in online learning and delivery. So what did we do? The solution to our problems seems simple, right? Offer online courses. So in line with the Malaysia Education Blueprint, we were helping to build a nation of lifelong learners as we create sustainable higher education landscape through globalized online learning. Also, our initiative seemed to correspond to the Sustainable Development Goals, that is goal number 4, quality education, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Thus, offering online courses seems to be the right thing to do. But is it just putting our course materials online and calling it an online course? So what did we do differently? When we thought deeper, we said, yeah, we have the content, so why not just use our existing content to develop our courses? That way, learners who take our online courses can be better prepared for their academic program. And perhaps their achievement in these online courses can be recognized in some way. And maybe they can be given credit transfer. Strangely though, then I had not heard about open credit, nor how feasible is this idea in the Malaysia education system. So it seems easy. It's like killing a stone with killing a bird with many stones, not just two, yeah. But then again, online courses are not really like that simple, where you just actually take the content and upload it into an online platform like an LMS or like open learning. But then again, it's not that complicated either. We just had to think harder and plan better. So think harder, we did. We look at our existing courses, which are common English courses for almost all diploma and degree programs, and plan on how we could create something meaningful from them. Thus, we went on to design our courses in stackable blocks so that they are more manageable and more easily digested by the learners. We kept in mind that these learners may not be doing these courses full-time. And since English is most likely a foreign language to them, we thought we should keep it bite-sized so that the learners will not be overwhelmed and can follow the course better and eventually successfully complete the course. So we ensure that these courses are all aligned to the actual courses in the diploma and degree programs. Therefore, it wasn't just about cutting up the course and, it's really about critically thinking how we could cut it so that the learners are able to demonstrate the achievement of the learning outcomes of that specific module. And that led us to micro-credential courses. So what did we achieve? We learned to turn conventional courses into micro-credentials. Within 6 months, we created 5 micro-credentials, with 1 being listed as an open credit. If you would like to know more, you can actually scan the QR code over here. And what did we learn from all this? We learned that it is possible to create micro-credentials, even though we may have very limited knowledge and skills to begin with. And to do that effectively, we must first know the platform or the LMS well. We learned all about its features, which is open learning, so that we could maximize its abilities in designing a meaningful learning experience for the learners. To create micro-credentials, we cut up conventional courses into a few smaller courses. As we did this, we paid great attention to the course learning outcomes. We set up a working team for each micro-credential so that the team could focus better and deliberate on the design of the course every step of the way. The team also created a living blueprint that could easily be accessed and updated by every team member as discussions unfolded. And lastly, but most importantly, we maintain clear and open communication. The team met very frequently to deliberate on the progress and the thinking around the course content. This is actually a very important thing to do to ensure that the course has got its coherence maintained throughout. Or else we might end up with a learner with fragmented learning experience everywhere, and probably not achieving the actual learning outcomes. So now with these lessons learned, we are looking forward to developing our very own platform for micro-credentials. This dedicated platform is known as UOW Malaysia KDU Knowledge Hub, where our micro-credentials will serve as future boosters aimed at developing future skills for the learners. We will have future boosters from accredited programs and also standalone future booster courses. So stay tuned for our suite of micro-credentials at our platform here. Thank you very much. Back to you, Amir.
All right. Hello. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the presentations. It was a very good one. I like it. All right. So, Michelle, very inspiring on how, like you transform your courses online by offering the micro credential courses. And happy to hear you have created not one, but five microcreds, and one is listed as an open cred. All is within 6 months. And congratulations to you and your team. And we also have one people coming in from the chat saying that she is coming from City University, which is Nick Ridwan. What comes into my mind on innovative online learning, I would say Kahoot and Google Classroom. This is what you mentioned just now about, like digesting the bit-sized online learning program. So Kahoot and also the Google Classroom are also one of the things that also provided, like a bit-sized kind of online learning. Thank you so much, Michelle. So yeah, all right. Before we proceed as well, so now let's hear from our audience as well. All right. So you should see a poll question pop up on your screen right now. Yep, it's right now. So we would like to know what type of programs you may or already be running right now, or are planning to run at your institutions. Let us know via the poll below. So while we do that, let's hear from our next speaker, Dr. Tenku. Over to you. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can start sharing yours. Okay.
Right. So thank you, Amir. Do I need to share my slide?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yep.
Share my slide first. Okay, can everyone see my slide?
Yes, doctor.
All right. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So basically, I'll be sharing these experiences of MMU when we develop our online lifelong education initiatives. So as you can see that the government of Malaysia is now really focused on flexible education. And MMU has been involved in flexible education for quite some time. We started, of course, with a blended learning model, and then, of course, mobile. And we have always been, admitting students through Upper A, and we also now have with the Upper C for credit transfer purposes. So then in 2018, we started our online open distance learning programs. And in line with, I think with the pandemic, we have seen that the growth of people interested in online learning. So then we started last year, we started with our micro credentials programs as well, whereby we have started with basically unbundling our master's program. But of course, being in a flexible, trying to deliver flexible and open learning education system is not easy. It involves a lot of challenges. And some of the challenges that I feel that we have gone through, because I'm actually from the Center for Lifelong Education and Learning Innovation, and I'm the Deputy Director specifically in charge of lifelong education. So for the past few years, I've noticed that some of the challenges we have faced are faculty readiness, course readiness, teaching readiness, and infrastructure readiness. So we try our best to provide the best learning experience for students, even though the courses are online. So like our normal conventional, because we also have many conventional programs, academic programs. So for online programs as well, it's very important for us to create a very meaningful learning experience for learners. So to ensure that there will be a meaningful learning experience for learners, we make sure there is teaching presence, social presence, as well as cognitive presence to create a very holistic learning experience for students. So it's not just a matter of providing certain content and providing lectures, but lectures themselves, as well as the content, should be able to involve students in a very interactive learning experience, whereby there's a lot of social presence in the sense of the students are always interacting with the lecturers, also always interacting with the content to provide a very holistic and meaningful learning experience. So in order to face these challenges, we find there are opportunities in terms of providing, education experiences for students, especially those who are not able to come to campus. So what the university has done is that under our Vice President of Academic International Relations, they set up the Center for Lifelong Education, Lifelong Learning Innovation, or called LEARN. And under LEARN, we have 3 different departments, and I'm in charge of the Lifelong Education Department. So we work very closely with the faculties to basically develop the open distance learning program as well as the micro-credentials programs. So what's important here when talking about the challenges, is very important for the leaders to support when you want to develop online ODL or micro-credentials program. Is very important for the leaders to support us, because without the leaders supporting us, it's very difficult for us to engage with the lecturers, to change their mindset towards teaching and learning in an online environment, because we have always been a conventional university. But now, since you're going towards open distance learning as a micro-credential, it's very important for us to engage and to change the mindset of lecturers. There's a different way of teaching and learning when you do it online. Okay, so what the university has done is we have set up the center for us to coordinate all the open distance learning programs as micro-credentials, and at the faculty level, we have the program coordinators for every academic program that is on online mode. We also have what we call the micro-credential champions, who will also coordinate for the university at the faculty level. So in terms of challenges as well, for example, when you want to develop micro-credentials, we need to consider how do we create the modules from a conventional program. How do we unbundle the courses? So when we unbundle courses, of course, we have to follow very closely how was the rules set up by NQA in the micro-credentials DGP, whereby it's very important that the SLT, when in the end that we want to basically when the students would like to rate onto a credit completion for the micro-credentials when they apply for our program. So we have to make sure that the CLOs and the SLTs will remain the same, but we still are able to unbundle the program. For example, one subject which is 120 SLT hours. So in MME, we unbundled it in 3 different micro-credentials, for example, and each micro-credential is about 40 SLT hours, but every micro-credential will map to certain learning outcomes. So in the end, when students would like to take the option of taking to be certified to get a degree, for example, in an academic program, we can actually just accept all 3 micro-credentials into the program, and it's equivalent to basically 1 subject. Okay, so when we unbundle the courses, we need to really guide the lecturers, because that they're now thinking of how do we unbundle one subject, with 120 SLT hours, 120 credit hours, and then how do we then unbundle the topics and so on. It's very important for us learn in my department. What we do is really sit down with the lecturers. We actually guide them and how they're able to do this, and we actually and the unbundling of the courses, we'll have a specific course information template where the lecturers have to fill up, and then this course information template, of course, has to be approved by our academic board. And then once we unbundle the modules into micro-credentials, we then develop the content. So the development of SIMs is also very important for the micro-credentials. So because we need to also to provide some instruction materials for the students to learn online, besides having face-to-face lectures as well as online discussions or collaborative discussions as well. So even the development of SIMs, as I think similar with what Mi-Chelle mentioned just now, we had teams to develop. In every faculty, we had teams to develop the SIMs, and of course coordinated by my department. But basically, we have the lecturers. For every micro-credential, we have a team of lecturers who will work on the SIMs as well as the micro-credentials. And then we have instruction designers. So instruction designers from Learn will work together with the lecturers to develop the whole micro-credential, including how they unbundle the courses and how they develop the SIMs. And then, of course, there is also training for lecturers. So lecturers, how do you teach micro-credentials? Because now you have to teach according to different micro-credentials. For in the past, perhaps they were teaching the subject for 1 whole semester, for 4 months. But now you have to basically teach the micro-credentials maybe perhaps only for 2 to 3 weeks or even less. So we have to train the lecturers in also how to actually conduct the micro-credentials. So we have a lot of trainings We invited, of course, the experts from MQA. We have done we as well for Learn. We have also conducted some training, especially on certain models. For example, we focus on scenario-based learning because we feel most of the students are working adults. So when we develop my credentials as well, we have included a lot of case studies, a lot of relevant examples of the industry. So the lecturers had to be prepared to teach to people who are working adults who already have knowledge on certain topics. So so whenever we develop more credentials, there's a lot of case studies, more discussions on relevant examples that are related to real work experiences. And in terms as well, finally, we have to also prepare the platforms. So we have the platform is basically for my credentials. We are of course using open learning, and but we basically the open learning even the platform is so far has been done very well for us. We deliver our credentials, but we have to actually divide all the different programs according to different types of market credentials. So we have the standalone market credentials and we have the accredited market credentials. So everything has to be well organized within the platform itself. Okay, so we feel that so these are challenges, of course, a lot of challenges, but we're able to do it because what's important is teamwork and a lot of training and guidance to the faculty members. And of course, finally, a lot of support from the leaders. All right. And so, so we see here, we have the entire ODL ecosystem they provided for our learners. We have what we call the campus management system where we are able to register the students. And then we have as well the online learning resources. We have the library that students can access. We have digital content in terms of self-instructional materials, infographics, recorded lectures, lecture notes as well, and also videos on the sources. We provide student support services in terms of this online support for students. And we also have what we have the teaching learning platforms. So for all those who are taking online distance learning, we have the multimedia learning system. But for those who are taking multiple credentials, we have the MMU open learning platform. And we also provide other tools. For example, we have the Google Classroom, we have as well Google Meet, we also have Microsoft 360, we have also Microsoft Teams. So we have a suite of teacher learning platforms that actually lecturers can choose and also adapt for the needs of their students. And then for open distance learning, these are some of the programs that we have. So open distance learning, of course, is 100% online. Everything is assessment mainly 100% coursework. There are no face-to-face physical classroom. Everything is done online. So at the moment, we have 3 programs: the Executive Master of Business Administration, MBA, the Master of Computer Science of Engineering, and the Bachelor of Management. So these are all academic programs. It's an entire academic program that can be completed maximum 2 years, but most students actually complete within 1 year. But of course, for the Bachelor of Management, is within 3 to 4 years. Okay, but for MMU Macro Credentials, basically we have both a component of an accredited program, and we have as well standalone courses. Okay, so these are features of MMU Credentials. So we see here that in MMU Credentials, we have like each course or one subject from an accredited program, we unpacked it or we unbundled into 3 to 4 macro credentials. And then it's, of course, it's delivered via online distance learning mode. And each macro credential can be completed within 2 weeks. We do have asynchronous online distance learning activities, but also we have synchronous face-to-face sessions as well. So basically, through the macro credentials, you can stack it, and basically you can earn your master's degree. But of course, you need to meet our entry requirement in order to be admitted into the master's program. But once enrolled, you can basically not really credit transfer. That basically you can you can basically use your macro credentials to do you can basically for what you call a program completion in order for you to get the master's degree. And of course, but what's good about macro credentials is once you completed every macro credential, you already earn a digital badge, meaning you can already share it through your CV. You don't have to wait until you complete the entire master's program in order to share your qualification. But for macro credentials, was very exciting and I think very relevant for the industry is that once you complete every macro credential, you can actually just use it as part of your CV. Okay, and of course the fees are affordable because actually you pay as you learn, and there is no advance payment. There are no exam fees. So I think we find that for working adults, we have already started in certain companies, and we find that people are very interested in market credential because it's very very flexible, it's affordable, and they find that when they learn in bite size, it's what we call bite size learning or micro learning. It's easier for them to basically absorb the content, easier for them to really understand the content better because it's in bite size. The content is in micro learning mode. All right. So basically, during completion, you can for MMU we have the Masters Business Administration program. So this is an example of a study pathway for one subject, which is a change management course. We divided into 3 different market credentials, which is strategic change management, value creation through organizational change, and of course we have effective change management approaches. And assessment is no exam. Everything is through coursework based. We have case study, project paper assignments, and the duration is only about 2 weeks per market credential. So if you complete, basically for one subject, it's about 6 weeks to complete. And later on, if you wish to enroll into our MBA program, you can basically use this as part of your course completion in order to obtain the MBA. Okay, so these are some market credentials that we have. We have about 25 market credentials for the MBA program. Okay, so this is like, for example, when you want to earn your MBA, so you register and you take the market credentials, and then you can advance your career by just sharing little badges for every market credential that you have completed. But you can also further your studies by enrolling to MBA program, and then you can directly, not really credit transfer, but it's credit completion up to 21 course credits in the MBA program, which is about 7 subjects. You just need to take another 4 subjects and complete the final project in order to be awarded with the MBA postgraduate degree. All right. So basically the other degrees that we are offering through micro credentials, we have the Master of Engineering in Telecommunications, Master of Engineering in Microelectronics. This is an example study pathway for the engineering program. And then we also have, so I started with MBA in March 2021, Master Engineering October 2021, and then soon Master in Computer Science in Software Engineering in March 2022, and also this year planning for the Masters of Creative Multimedia as well. All right, so Multimedia Learning Platform, we have the Open Learning platform that we are currently using to offer all our market credentials. All right, so we are divided into different categories. So we have the business and management market credentials, as well as engineering and IT. And so you have a suite of courses that you can choose in order to, and just a range of suite of market credentials that you can choose to study. And if you wish, you can later on enroll the MBA and just basically use these market credentials for credit completion. All right, so just show this. All right, so when you link to market credentials, we have things like you can learn using some instructional materials. We are basically watching videos and also slides. We have face-to-face synchronous real-life online class sessions using Microsoft Teams or Google Meet. We also have online learning activities like, we have asynchronous discussions, discussions on case studies, and even collaborative activities. And we also have independent learning on like reading journal articles and so on to complete the assignments and so on. So see examples of some instructional materials. Sometimes it's a recorded lecture, sometimes a lot of animations. And once you have passed the assessment, you will be awarded with a badge, as well as the Malaysian micro credential statement, which is very important later on if you want to basically do credit completion if you enroll into our master's program. And of course, we have appel and so on. So so for those who do not have do not meet the entry requirement to join our master's program, you can still use appel A to apply our master's program. And later on, when you credit transfer, for example, once you enroll into the program as well, you can also we can also credit transfer your prior experiential learning through appel C. Okay, All right. So basically, we feel that you can please contact me. We need more information at the Lifelong Education Department in Learn from MMU. Okay, Amir.
All right. All right. All right. That's great, Dr. Tenku. All right. Okay, sure.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Great. All right. Thanks. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tenku, for your presentations. I really like, like you can even get your master degree just by doing the online courses, and then you don't need to even go to the campus. I think it's very convenient and flexible to the working adults to really join this program. Yeah. So thank you so much to Dr. Tenku that have just shared to us about the presentation on the innovative of online learning. All right. So while we're doing so as well, as you can know that we just run out the poll just before Dr. Tenku started the presentations. So we asked you what type of innovative program you would like to run, and this is the results that we have here. So the majority of you are looking at delivering the micro credentials and blended courses, both at 25 people at the same time. Yeah. So it's very interesting. So some of you also answered others. All right. I'm curious, what type of program do you mean? All right. So for these 4 people that have just answered others, just let us know in the comment box below. We would like to know as well. What do you mean by others? All right. So yeah. So now we have already done roll on the first poll. Let's go on the second poll. All right. Now let us know via this next poll question. What stage are you currently at in delivering these programs on your online courses? You may choose an option from the pop-up poll that is there right now. Is it at the starting poll, building, running, roadblock, or even others? If you mean by others, please let us know in the comments box below as well. All right. So thank you so much, guys. All right, so while that's happening, while waiting for the people just to answer the poll questions, let us go on our discussions, all right? All right, so guys, again, I would like to remind you again that if you have any questions for our speakers, for Michelle and Dr. Tenku, or want us to discuss anything in specific, this is the best time to leave your questions in the Q&A box here right now. So we will be answering all of your questions just before the end of the event, all right? So I think let's start with the discussions for today, yeah? Dr. Tenku and Michelle, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, sure. So so Michelle, let's start the discussion with you right now, yeah? So I'm pretty sure that the audience would like to know, right? What lessons did you learn from your experience? And what kind of recommendations would you give to the other institutions who are looking to offer their own online programs?
Hi, thank you, Amir. Thank you for the
Right.
question. So I think the first and foremost, most important thing is to know the platform that you want to host your courses well. For those who have followed my story before in last year's symposium, you might remember me sharing about my challenges in more detail. So when we started developing our courses, we actually started with another platform. And then, unfortunately, due to some changes, we had to change to open learning. So the activities that we developed earlier for the platform was not entirely suitable, or we can't really just copy it over into open learning. But then again, with the so-called new things that we learn about open learning and what open learning can do, we could just adapt and modify whatever things that we have planned previously and then use it in open learning. So it's really important to understand your platform, the LMS that you're using, and its ability. What can it do? Because that will actually help you to create an engaging course for your learners. So having said that, the second thing I think Dr. Tenku has also brought up is to cut your conventional courses into smaller courses, which is micro-credentials. And when you do that, you've got to be really aware of what you're cutting and how you're cutting. One of the most important thing is the course learning outcomes, because if you do not understand the course learning outcomes of that particular course and you simply just divide it, say based on topics or what, you will eventually find that you are not able to help the learners to achieve the learning outcomes at the end of that course or the micro credential. And that eventually will lead to some issues, because then let's say, for example, if you're developing a course from an accredited program and you would like to allow these students who take this particular micro credential to eventually stack it up and get credit transfer into the accredited program, you will not be able to do so because it doesn't match or doesn't align to the course in the accredited program. So knowing the course learning outcomes is really important. And when you cut up the course, make sure you actually cut up according to the learning outcomes. Yeah. And having a working team, it's possible to do it alone. But then again, in my experience, I think it's better to work in a team, because your team members will then also be able to provide you different perspectives on the content that you're creating or the activities that you're creating. Yeah, more brains, the better, right? So having said that, whenever you work in a team, definitely there will be conflicts, misunderstandings, misinterpretation of certain things. So it's really crucial for the team to be successful. You need to have good communication, and that a lot of time means honest feedback. Yeah, what we did for our team is we even go down to the point where each one will, before they actually do the video lecture, the mini short lectures, they will create the slides and they get together and they actually look at the slides one by one. So we go through it, vet them, not only in terms of typo or grammatical error, but also in terms of how the message or content is being delivered, so that, we kind of like cut down the time on having to record and then re-record the videos and record, that kind of thing. So having done that, we actually minimize a lot of like error correction after, doing the video. So create the slides, the team will go through it in a live session. At that time it was MCO, so everybody did it online meeting. We'll scrutinize the slides, we'll talk about how, even to the graphics and so on. And then only the academic will go on to record the video using the slides which has already been vetted. So that really helps. And of course, I know that a lot of times, like I said just now, honest feedback is really important. I remember at the beginning, my team members were rather shy to comment on another team member's work, but along the way, as I keep telling them that you got to be honest, you got to give honest feedback if you want the project to be successful, because eventually your learners are going to watch the video, yeah, and what kind of engagement are you creating for them? Yeah, is it going to be meaningful or not? So if you don't correct it now at this stage, you will not be able to create a successful one at the end. So after a period of time, they were able to like give honest feedback to each other. So that's really helpful. And it's really important to also have a plan of what you want to do. So we have a blueprint that states every single topic, and for each of the topic, how does it align to the course learning outcomes, and what are the activities that we are doing specifically for that particular section that will help the students to achieve the learning outcomes. So again, this also goes through the entire team's discussion and them communicating and debating whether this is in, this is out, this is right or this is wrong, and how we can do it better. So those are my 5 recommendations. Back to you, Amir.
All right, thank you so much, Michelle, for the answers. All right, so I really agree with you, and then like picking the few points when you mentioned like to how to make this innovative online learning happen, like how to make it happen. The first one is to convert the conventional course to online courses, and then be aware on what you want to cut and know well about your learning outcomes. Then this can be made happen. All right, so let's continue to Dr. Tenku right now. So thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing your thoughts and answering the questions that we have just now on the chat. All right, so Dr. Tenku, I am particularly impressed by how your team unbundled and developed a flexible, lifelong learning model that is so unique to MMU. All right, so from your presentations, we can really see that it really takes a whole team with enough support for the educators, as well as suitable platform or tools um, to achieve something like this at the university level. So, Dr. Tengkui, my question to you is, how can we achieve this level of university readiness and support from the leaders, right? What advice would you give to the other institutions who are looking to get buy-in from the university management or the lecturers themselves? Like they want to, get the management to say, okay,
To tell the truth, it was even in the beginning, it was actually challenging for us who are in the who are basic champions of online learning. For example, I've been involved in online learning for some time, and we're very passionate. My team especially very passionate about online learning, and so in order for us, for example, back in 2018 when we started ODL program. We started with the ODL program was because the reason why we started ODL program was the university found that there was a declining number of students, especially international students who were applying for our master's program. So the university management decided that why don't we now make everything online, since especially for international students. That is similar to what to the WOU experience. Okay, but later on, so basically the reason was more in terms of monetary. The reason was more for monetary gain. But when we started developing the online program, we felt there are other innovations that we could also basic adapt for online learning. And even back then in 2018, we were actually we're suggesting micro credentials to our university management, and we already started the groundwork on micro credentials even back then, even though we have not yet developed the micro credentials. But we found that micro credentials have already started overseas, and I think it's going to be the next the next boom in the next the next step for ODL online learning is going to be micro credentials, especially for working adults, because it's really difficult for working adults. Sometimes it's not flexible for them to basically take an entire mechanic program. They probably like to take it according to their time. They want to be really flexible, and they don't want to take like one course for one semester. So we could see that this is going to make a change later on. So we started actually back then in 2018, even for micro credentials, and I think what's important, as what Michelle mentioned just now, is teamwork. It's very important that you have a very good team. And the team must be very passionate about online learning, because you really have to convince the management, as well as not just the management, but as well as the faculty members. So faculty members, even though MMU has been doing blended learning all this while, we already started by learning even since we started university, but to actually do everything online is not that easy for them. So having a passionate team, and the team consists of instruction designers and then as well as educators, we really had to go all out to convince the management as well as the faculty members, and that involves a lot of creating awareness, a lot of trainings, a lot of sitting down with the lecturers. So we had to go down to the faculties and sit down with the lecturers, and actually, for example, when we need to unbundle the courses into different into different modules, micro learning modules, we had to actually show them how do you from, let's say, for one course, how do you select the topic for every credentials according to the CLO, and how will that map as well to the assessment? So it's very important when you unbundle, you have to make sure that there is a division of SLT. For example, 120 SLT hours, how you divide between the micro credentials, and for every micro credential, what is the CLO? And what type of assessment do you want that will be able to enable the learners to achieve the CLO? Okay, and in the top, and what should be the topics? For the topic also have to be mapped to the CLOs, and then how do you engage the learners in order for them to really have meaningful learning about the topic. So that's where we really need to sit down the lecturers, the instruction designers, even myself. We sit down and discuss in terms of what type of activities we like the students to do. So it's not just viewing the videos. We also want students to be engaged to through a lot of collaborative activities. Using, for example, I think in our case, we use a lot of collaborative by using a lot of Google, the Google Suite, the G Suite. For example, you use Google Doc, you use Google Sheets, and so on. All the Google Slides. So for the China students, we are unable to use Google, so we use the Microsoft 360. So basically, so we want to make sure there is a lot of meaningful learning. It's not just viewing the videos, but there's also a lot of interaction, discussions between learners and students, learners and the lecturers, and between learners themselves. So that in the end, they create a community of practice. Because it's very important that these are adult learners. All the adult learners, they come into the course with a lot of, I would say a lot of knowledge, because they are adult learners. Okay, so therefore we always want to basically take advantage of the learners' own experiences, learners' own knowledge. So and that happens especially when we have all these online discussions. That's when they're able to network and share knowledge with one another. And what's really good is that we have found that it has been so successful that these learners, they actually formed their own WhatsApp group outside of class. And they actually continued a discussion outside of class, and they started to network with one another and so on. And so we're receiving feedback, for example, students telling us that without ODL programs, without multi-credential, we would not be able, to have this, we'll not be able to gain as much knowledge as competencies if we were just learning this alone. So, so I think multi-credentials and ODL program is the way forward, especially for working adults. And we are glad that we are happy that we're able to, basically be able to be part of this initiative that gives a lot of opportunities to people out there in order for them to be able to gain more knowledge, more competency, and so on. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tenku.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's move on to Michelle. There's a question coming in from Hanafi, which is from KPJ Healthcare University College, saying that is it possible to create a micro credential course for MUET or IELTS preparatory classes since they are not based on any accredited programs or courses? What would be the breakthrough process in developing the PLO or CLO? Right? You can keep the answers concise so we can answer all of the questions that we have on the Q&A. All right.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Hanafi, for the question. It is possible to create micro-credential courses for MUET or IELTS or any international-based kind of English test, I think. Let's say, for example, if you're thinking about IELTS, then you might want to think about whether you want to create something that is based on the target band that you want to help the learners to achieve, or you want to divide the courses into the skills like listening, speaking, reading, and writing, or it could be both. Listening for those who want to get maybe band 7, or writing course for those who want to get band 7.5, those kind of micro-credential courses can be created even though they are not from accredited programs. We do have some micro-credential courses which are not from any accredited programs, such as English for nursing. It's not part of the accredited programs, but this particular course is a course that is recommended to our nursing students to take as they are progressing in their diploma program. Right, I hope I've answered that question.
All right, that's concise and precise. Thank you so much, Michelle. So next question to Dr. Tenku, coming in from Evelyn Jayapalan. She asked about, from the aggressive move in online learning, we are already shifting hybrid learning. So as an educator herself, how do you manage hybrid teaching in ensuring innovative teaching and learning?
Yes. So at the moment we are, I'm also a lecturer besides being deputy director of the center. So I also do, currently we're doing hybrid teaching actually in MMU, because we found that, especially for undergraduate students, many would like to come back to campus, but there are still students who opt for the online learning. So what we do is we do hybrid teaching and learning. So what we are excited about now is that in MMU, we are now implementing what we call high flex classes. Whereby in these high flat classes, we have, for example, certain equipment where we can actually do this hybrid learning, hybrid teaching learning, meaning that because we will have whatever, for example, in the classroom, we have this camera, whereby and this camera and a microphone, that wherever I walk in the class, doesn't, because when we're teaching in class, sometimes you walk, right? You just don't stay at one place. So whenever I walk from one part of the room to another, for example, the camera will actually follow and track me, and as well as the microphone as well will capture my voice. So it really doesn't matter. Like I'm like teaching normally, but the students who are online, they can also view me exactly as the students who are in the class. So it's not necessarily I have to be in front of the computer all the time. Like Google Meet, you're always on the computer to sit down, and look at the camera and on the laptop for students to see me. But having the high flex classes, wherever I am in the classroom, the camera will capture me as well as my voice can be heard. So because I think right now, I think due to the COVID-19 pandemic, perhaps the future is actually hybrid teaching and learning. So we have those the equipment, the technology available for us to be able to do the hybrid learning. So we have some students who are assessing through Google Meet, as well as students in the classroom. Okay, and we can even do breakout rooms where the students we can actually combine the students who are online as well as students who are actually in the class, because of the fact that we have this equipment in the high flex classrooms. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tenku. All right. So now I think we have one last question that we can answer for today. I think this one goes to Mi-Chelle. So it's from Mahathir Muhammad. Mahathir Muhammad saying that, what is the best approach for practical heavy courses to be delivered online? In example, fine art, culinary, or etc.
Thank you for the question, Mahathir Muhammad. Right. For such courses, I would suggest that there are a lot of video demonstrations to help the students. So especially like if you talk about culinary, you will need to have videos where the instructor can actually demonstrate to the student how to cook this, or how to do plating or anything like that, or how to cut the particular meat or vegetable. That way, students will be able to understand what they're supposed to do with the things that they have. So with that said, I think it's important then you or the institution would invest into good equipment that can take such videos up close, so that they can actually see in detail what's going on, rather than having just a laptop like what we are doing now. I think that's difficult for the students to see what you're cooking or what you're cutting there. So there are plenty of equipment out there that is specifically for such use.
All right. Thank you so much, Mi-Chelle and Dr. Tenku, for today. All right. Big thanks to our speakers for today, which is Dr. Tenku and also Mi-Chelle, for having the very good discussions that we have today. And to all of you all are in the webinar for today, thank you for being such an attentive and participative audience with all of the questions and chats that we have in the questions down below. All right. So from the poll earlier, we see that almost 50% of you are actually in the building phase of delivering your online programs. Kudos to you all. All right. So keep it keep it up, and we look forward to seeing the innovation that comes from all of your institutions this year, 2022. So in the meantime, we at Open Learning are more than happy to speak with you. So to learn more about your online learning goals, or see how we can support your institutions or teams' objectives, or even you want us to show a demo a bit on how Open Learning works, let us know in this final poll questions if you would like us to get in touch with you for a free personalized consultation to share the case study, strategy for running these programs, or even to share you with the demo. Let us know via the pop-up poll now. So you can also book a call today, and also go to our QR code or link on the screen that we also have shared in the link in the chat box now. All right. So feel free to click on the link to book a call with my team. So we'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. All right. All right, guys. So before we end, I would like to reshare some links from our speakers for today. To find out more about UOW Malaysia KDU's and MMU's program, just feel free to click on the links that have been shared with you in the chat box. All right. Just feel free to go there on the chat box and explore what are the courses and what are the innovations that they are planning to do that again next year or this year. Since Michelle and Dr. Tenku already mentioned that they're actually on the planning to build a successful innovative courses by this year. So you may check it out right now, right? Just share the links and save the links up so you can visit the links anytime you want to visit us again, all right? All right, so I think that's all for the time that we have for today. So thank you to our speakers and to our attendees for joining us this afternoon. I personally had a very enriching experience and I hope you all have benefited from the discussions that we have today. All right, thank you so much again to Dr. Tengku and Leong Mi-Chelle for tuning in and also coming in to our webinars for today. We'll be sending you all a follow-up email in the next few days and with a link to the today's webinar and the speaker presentations. So do look out for it in your inbox maybe today or tomorrow. So on behalf of Michelle, Dr. Tengku, and my team, myself at Open Learning Malaysia, thank you once again. We hope to see you again on our next webinar. Take care and have a nice
Thank
day.
you, Amir.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you,
You too.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Keep in touch.
You too.